Energy giant AGL will close the Loy Yang A coal-fired power station in Gippsland, in Victoria's east at least 3 years ahead of schedule. Key points. AGL has told investors it plans to operate the Loy Yang A coal plant in Victoria until at least 2040. AGL has told investors it plans to operate the Loy Yang A coal plant in Victoria until at least 2040. The announcement has angered environmental groups who had oped for an earlier exit from coal. The announcement has angered environmental groups who had oped for an earlier exit from coal. The company is also bringing forward the closure of the Bayswater plant in New South Wales. In a half-yearly update to its shareholders, AGL announced it would get out of coal between 2040 and 2045. The Loy Yang A power station is one of Victoria's newest coal-fired power stations and produces 2,210 megawatts (MW) of electricity, about 30% of the state's total. It was initially slated to close by 2048. The company also used the financial update to bring forward the closure of the Bayswater plant in New South Wales. Environment groups had hoped for the company would announce a quicker exit from coal and have slammed the decision. What this means is that AGL is going to continue or wants to continue having its power stations pollute for another 23 years, which is completely unrealistic, Environment Victoria's campaign's director Greg Foister said. He said the rapid growth in renewables meant AGL would likely have to bring its closure dates forward again in years to come, creating uncertainty in coal communities. The Australian energy market operator, AEMO, has forecast all coal plants could be shut across Victoria by 2032. AGL to split into two companies. AGL is in the process of splitting its business into two companies, AGL Australia and Excel Energy. Its coal-fired power stations will be housed in Excel Energy, which will also own 15% AGL Energy. Environment Victoria said AGL's planned new structure is a form of greenwashing, as it separates its high-polluting assets from its retail business. But AGL Chief Executive and Managing Director Graham Hunt told shareholders the company was making strides towards cutting its emissions. He said the new AGL Australia would be carbon neutral upon listing and planned to achieve net zero by 2040. What this means is that AGL is going to continue or wants to continue having its power stations pollute for another 23 years, which is completely unrealistic, Mr. Hunt said. A vote on the proposed split is expected in June. AGL posted an after-tax profit of $194 million for the first half of the 2022 financial year, down 41% on the same time a year ago. Early closure for Bayswater. The Bayswater power station near Muswell Brook in the NSW Upper Hunter generates enough electricity to power 2 million homes. The target date for closure was 2035, but AGL is now aiming to close the plant sometime between 2030 and 2033. About 600 people are employed at the thermal coal plant, which is close to AGL's Little Power Station, set to shut next year. The federal government's $600 million gas-fired power plant at Kurri Kurri is being built to help bolster energy supply and local jobs, as AGL transitions away from thermal coal.